There is one sentence God spoke to 3 different people across 1,000 years, in 3 different languages.
And it broke all 3 of them.
We will get to that sentence, but not yet. First, a man on his knees. He has been on his knees before. He has prayed in prison cells. He has prayed in shipwrecks. He has prayed at midnight with chains on his wrists and blood on his back. This man knows how to pray in the dark. But this prayer is different. This prayer is personal. This prayer is desperate in a way that Roman beatings and Philippian dungeons never made him desperate. He is asking God to take something away. He calls it a thorn. But the Greek word is skolops, and skolops does not mean a splinter. It means a pointed stake, something driven in, something that does not budge when you pull. Scholars have argued for 2,000 years about what it was: an eye disease, a persecutor who followed him city to city, a condition that humiliated him in front of the very churches he planted. Whatever it was enough to bring the Apostle Paul to his knees 3 times with the same request. Take it away, take it away, take it away. And God said no. Here's what most people miss. God did not stay silent, he answered. Clearly, specifically, he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." The Greek word for sufficient is arche, present tense. Not will be sufficient one day when you understand. Is. Right now. Already. Enough. Paul wanted relief. God gave him something better. God gave him a reason. Stay with me. Because 1,000 years before Paul was born, another man made the same request. His name was Moses. He was 120 years old, and he had spent 40 years leading 2 million people through a desert on a promise. He had seen the Red Sea split. He had seen bread fall from the sky. He had climbed a mountain and come back down with the law of God on 2 stone tablets. And now, at the end of everything, one mistake behind him, one river between him and everything God had promised, he asked, "Let me go in, let me see it. After everything, let me cross." And God said no. The word in the original language carries the weight of a door closing. Enough. It is sufficient. Do not bring this to me again. But it gets stranger. The historian Josephus wrote that Moses did not argue. He did not protest. He climbed Mount Nebo alone, and he looked out over the land he would never enter. And then, according to Josephus, he wrote his own death into the final chapters of Deuteronomy. The man God said no to became the man who recorded God's no for every generation that came after. His unanswered prayer became scripture. The man who could not cross the Jordan became the man standing beside Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. Inside the land, finally, in a form no border could keep out. God's no was not the end of Moses' story. It was the hinge. Now watch what happens next, because there is a third man who prayed this prayer, and this one should stop you completely. It is late. The city is asleep. An olive grove outside Jerusalem holds a small group of men, most of them already unconscious with exhaustion. And in the center of the grove, on the ground, alone, the Son of God is praying. The weight of what he knows is coming has triggered a condition the physicians call hematidrosis. His sweat is falling like drops of blood. His capillaries have ruptured under the pressure of his anguish. He is fully God, and he is fully, utterly human in this moment. And he prays the same prayer Paul prayed, the same prayer Moses prayed. "Father, if it is possible, take this cup from me." The Father said no. This is not a story about unanswered prayer. This is not a story about suffering. This is not a story about a God who is far away and cannot hear you. This is a story about a father who looked at his own son in the worst moment of his life and chose not to intervene, because what was on the other side of the suffering was something no relief could have purchased. Think about what it means to love someone enough to let them hurt. Every parent who has watched a child fight through something they could not fix knows a version of this. the instinct is to take it away. But sometimes love looks like staying present inside the pain rather than removing it. Because the struggle is building something the comfort never could. The Father did not abandon Jesus in Gethsemane. He was there, silent, present. And 3 days later, the silence broke. Here is what these 3 prayers have in common. Paul asked for relief. God gave him a revelation. That weakness is the address where divine power lives. Moses asked for an entrance. God gave him a legacy. His words, his life, his obedience outlasted every border. Jesus asked for another way. The Father gave him the only way, the one that opened the door for every broken, desperate, on their knees person who came after. So if you are carrying a prayer that has not been answered, if you have asked once and twice and a third time, and the silence is so loud it presses on your chest, hear this. God's no is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the part you could not have written yourself. Which of these 3, Paul, Moses, or Jesus in Gethsemane, hits closest to where you are right now? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And if this video found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs it today.